Hello everyone and welcome to another Black Ops 3 video. Today I want to go on a little bit of a rant concerning whether or not things in Black Ops 3 are overpowered, because overpowered is one of those key phrases that people seem to think applies to everything they don't like. People think that if it annoys them, it's overpowered. If they don't use it and it kills them, it's overpowered. If it kills them 1 out of every 10 times they face it, it's overpowered. This bothers me because there are actually things in the game that are overpowered and do need to be addressed, and yet the more things get talked about as overpowered, the more the developers are going to take notice of it and trim it down, kind of like certain weapons in the game that have already been nerfed. So I feel like there needs to be a set definition of overpowered, because there's a difference between overpowered and annoying. So, for example, I was on Reddit today and I read a post about how overpowered the GI unit is. And the whole point the guy was making was the fact that it kills you and it's hard to kill. And I was reading this post like, of course it's hard to kill. It's like a 1600 score streak. It's also very, very hard to earn. If it was easy to kill, no one would use it. Everyone would, if it was easy to kill a GI unit, why would you use it? Why wouldn't you just get 2 sentry turrets in the same number of points, or close to your second Cerberus or something like that? Well, why bother with a really high score streak if it's just going to die 5 seconds after it's already on the field? I tried to explain this to him to no avail, but the fact that it's hard to kill is the balancing factor. That's what keeps it from being underpowered. And frankly, I haven't looked at my time in game. It's probably close to 5 or 6 days in game by now, maybe even more than that. And I have not one single time had someone on the enemy team call in a GI unit. Not once. And so you can't tell me that something that is that hard to earn that you never, ever, ever see is overpowered. It might be annoying and it might be powerful, but it's not overpowered. And another one that gets a lot of talk is Reject. And I was talking to a friend of mine actually, and I'm sure he's going to watch this video, so I'm not going to name names. We were talking about things that needed to be changed about Reject. I don't remember why we were talking about it. Neither of us uses it. But I was saying they need to just take Reject and make it to where the score streak continues if you use Reject. Because right now, it's pointless. There really is no real point to using Reject right now. And he was saying, yeah, but if you keep the score streak going, then it's going to be just like it was in the beta, and it's going to be overpowered again, just like it was before they nerfed it. And I was thinking, no, it wasn't overpowered before. It was annoying, and because it was annoying, people complained about it, but it wasn't overpowered. If you think about where Reject is now, you still get credited with a death, I believe. Maybe it doesn't credit you with a death. It does credit them with a kill. I mean, you get on Reddit and you see half the posts regarding Reject are saying, I love it when other people use Reject because it's basically a free second kill. And then the other side is, I hate Reject. Anything that brings you back to life is overpowered. And it's like, well, no, Reject is a really difficult thing to use properly. You usually do die a second time as soon as you come back. And then if you do manage to come back, what is your reward? Starting from scratch all over again? The only thing you've done is avoid 1 death on your stat sheet at the end of the game. I could see it being useful for something like, hardpoint or domination or something, but the truth is, Reject really isn't very good. And it certainly, in no way, shape, or form is overpowered. What Reject basically is tack insert that forces you to respawn right in front of the person who killed you. So if you die and you respawn and you're in the line of sight of the person who just killed you and they kill you a second time and you're crying about it and you're yelling about it, that is what Reject does. You're sitting there saying Reject is overpowered when spawning in front of someone who just killed you is BS and a terrible spawn. So again, don't make Reject more powerful. It's fine the way it is, but at least make it to where you continue your score streak after you use it, and in that 1 in 5 chance that you actually get to come back to life and survive. So to me, to determine if something is overpowered or not overpowered, to me, it comes down to this. Is it so much better than the alternative that there's no reason to use the alternative, or is it so good that there's no real way to counter it? those are the two things I look at when I talk about overpowered. So for example, the launchers. I really do think the launchers in this game are overpowered when it comes to taking down aerial streaks. It is impossible to miss a UAV or a counter UAV or even a hater. I mean, think about you get all the way up to a hater. That is a really high score streak, and it takes 2 shots from a lock-on weapon to take it down. And I mean, like, you don't even need Ghost. If you're using Ghost in this game, I'll watch YouTubers like put up their best class setups, and this is my favorite class setup for this and that and the other. And anytime they suggest Ghost, I just want to laugh at them. Like, no. You take the class setup slot that you would have used on Ghost, and you put on a launcher, and then not only do you get the benefit of not showing up on radar, you get the added benefit of the extra 70 points or whatever it is towards your next score streak, and the added experience that you get for shooting it down, and one step closer to your diamond launchers. I mean, then the alternative to the launcher is Ghosts, and because the launchers are so good, there is really absolutely no reason to use Ghosts instead of a launcher unless you just absolutely have to have a pistol in your class, which, again, I mean, I guess if you're using a sniper rifle, I could see that being the case, but that's really the only time, if you're using a sniper rifle, that I would say, yeah, go with Ghost over a launcher. But really, to me, the most overpowered thing in the game is anything that stuns your character. Stun grenades or shot grenades or whatever they are crazy powerful. And you think about it, there are 3 different types of tactical grenades. You've got EMP grenades, which keep you from being able to boost jump anywhere. And of course, they also shut down kill streaks, but that's a different thing. You've got flash grenades, which makes it really hard to see anything. And then you have stun grenades, which are supposed to just slow down your aim, making it hard to track people that run into the room. But with stun grenades, there is a slight flash factor to them, not nearly as much as the flash grenade, but it still exists. It does slow you down to the point that you really can't move at all. And on top of that, you can't even boost. You can't jump up, you can't slide, you can't do anything. It's like getting hit with all 3 grenades at one time, and it completely nullifies the flashbang. There is absolutely no good reason to use a flashbang grenade instead of a stun grenade unless you're going for challenges. And because it nullifies the alternative, it's overpowered. And the funny thing is that people have been complaining about this since the beta. I remember watching videos by Drifter and T-Martin and those guys when the beta of the game was going on, saying, man, these stun grenades are ridiculous. You absolutely have to have tac mask on your class. They've got to nerf these things. They're way too powerful. And yet they haven't nerfed them. But what have they nerfed? The M8A7, which really the M8A7 was the best assault rifle, but it was no way, shape, or form overpowered. You could beat the M8A7, and there was plenty of reason to use other assault rifles that are not the M8A7. But there's still no reason to use any other tactical grenade other than the shock or stun grenade, I should say. And it's probably more powerful than Heatwave. I don't know a whole lot about Heatwave. I've only used it once or twice, but I can't imagine Heatwave being any more powerful than a stun grenade. So that's something that really legitimately does need to get nerfed, and that is overpowered. And the reason it's overpowered is because it nullifies its competition. There is no competition for it at what it does. So again, this was just a rant. It was spur of the moment. And it wasn't really intended to change anything or really educate anybody. This is just me trying to get something off my chest. So thanks for listening and watching. I hope you enjoyed the video, and goodbye.